Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Have you ever heard of Learn Worlds?
No, I have not. Why don't you tell me about it?
Sure, let me tell you more about it. Do you want to create an income online by adding a new revenue stream to your business? It has never been easier. Consider taking your knowledge, skills, and expertise and converting it into a course that you can sell online.
Sounds cool.
It is really pretty cool. Learn Worlds makes it easy to create, host, and sell beautiful online courses that have an impact. Learn World's intuitive platform and a wealth of resources to educate yourself. You're only a few steps away from building a thriving online business in the booming knowledge economy. Visit trylearnworlds.com/free to start your 30-day free trial right now. Again, that's trylearnworlds.com/free to start that 30-day trial.
Sounds cool.
Hey, Mike, have you heard of the Entrepreneur Swag Shop?
I have not heard about it.
You haven't? Well, let me tell you more. One of the biggest challenges business owners face is creating and maintaining a strong mindset, as fear, doubt, worry, and other negative thoughts tend to creep in. That's why I love the EntrepreneurSwagShop.com and what it's doing to address the common issue. Its mission is to empower entrepreneurs through clothing and accessories so they can stay inspired and focused on their goals.
That's cool.
It's not just who, but what you surround yourself with that makes an impact of how you think, the actions you take, and the results that you are going to get.
Dun, dun, dun.
At EntrepreneurSwagShop.com, again, that's EntrepreneurSwagShop.com, just how it sounds, you will find a variety of items to inspire you and help achieve your business goals. Whether you're young, old, male, female, or just beginning out on an experienced business or needing to refresh that older business, you'll find something in the shop that will help you on your journey.
Yeah, this is right up my alley.
Visit EntrepreneurSwagShop.com today and get 10% off your first order. Again, visit them online at EntrepreneurSwagShop.com. That's EntrepreneurSwagShop.com today to get that variety of information that makes you feel good to inspire you to continue on with your business goals. We would like to thank Podcorn for sponsoring this episode of TechTime Radio. Explore sponsorship opportunities and start monetizing your podcast by signing up at podcorn.com/podcasters. Let me tell you about Podcorn. Podcorn is an absolute must for any podcaster starting out. Now, when we started out TechTime Radio, we started out in a back office with a couple of mics. We expanded to a studio, and then now, as you can see, we're on the radio and have distribution into other markets. Having the ability to have Podcorn at the start of our podcast would have been a dream come true. Guess what? With Podcorn, you now have the amazing opportunity for podcasts to receive sponsorship, such as host reads, interview segments, and topical discussions. With Podcorn, there's no middleman. Podcasters of all sizes can browse and choose opportunities right on their platform, set their own rates, and collaborate with brands directly without exclusivities. You never give up the rights of your podcast in Podcorn, and they're here to support you everywhere possible. Visit podcorn.com. Again, that's podcorn.com. Podcorn is a true success for those starting their podcast dreams.
Coming to you from the shores of the Pacific Northwest, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, Technology news of the week, the show for the everyday common person with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. I'm Nathan Mumm. We got Mike Roday here, David Brown behind the board. Welcome to our live show. We are in studio streaming Saturdays from 4 to 6 p.m.
You going to do it?
So, yeah, I'm going to do it. So if you're watching us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, not 4 to 6 p.m., and Sunday, you're going to catch a rebroadcast. So where can you get your most up-to-date information? By going to techtimeradio.com. Again, that's techtimeradio.com, and you can get all the information there regarding our show. All right. I know that we have a break in here that we wanted to have taken care of. So, David, did you want to break in? You had an announcement you'd like to make to start off the show?
Yes, I would have an announcement for everybody out there today. Today marks 1 year of Tech Time being on AM 1150 KKNW. So congratulations, applause, and orders.
Way to go. Way to go.
Good job.
Mr. Gourdet and Mr. Gourdet and Mr. Mumm have missed a couple days, but David has not. He's been
Mike
here.
and Mumm have.
Well, remember, I missed one.
He missed one.
I missed one.
That's right, a Gonzaga game. That's correct. All right, well, welcome to Tech Time Radio. We are the 2-hour technology show that talks about current technologies weeks ahead of the mainstream media before you're going to hear about it, because it's so crazy. We talk about stuff on here, and then like literally 2 weeks later, you'll start seeing about it in the mainstream media, and then people will say, hey, well, did you hear about this? And we'll be like, yep. If you listen to our show, we knew about it 2 weeks ago. That's exactly correct. All right. This week on the show, we are going to discuss PayPal's $54 billion bid to buy Pinterest. We got
Pinterest.
Amazon is being accused of lying about its business practices to Congress.
No way.
Yes, and it's hurting small businesses. We have some good news, as the average ransomware payment has stayed at only $143,000 per cybercrime conviction. It stayed steady for Q3 of 2021. It didn't increase or it didn't go down.
Yeah, I think we're going to talk about a whole new social media network, too.
We are. That's we got about that. We also have a cyber crime group called Fin7 we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about drug cartels in Mexico. And then is Sony changing the game by allowing people to vote and pay to boot players off? We're going to be talking about that. That's a pretty big change in the gaming community. That's going to be it's going to be like a Hunger Games, and all of a sudden you're going to see Katniss is out there saving the day, and all of a sudden all the viewers at home vote her off, and then boom, she's gone.
Yeah, bad idea.
All right,
this is a bad idea, Sony.
It is. On the second hour, we have our letter segment. We look at the latest phishing attempts, email scams, and frauds. To me, and we got some funny ones today. Then we also have an Ask the Expert segment where we're going to open up the phone calls. Today is the day to be live on the show. So if you want to call us at 425-373-5527. Again, that's 425-373-5527. David will get you on the air, or 188-298-KKNW. That's 188-298-5569, and we will have a whole open phone segment in the second hour. So if you call up, we'll probably interrupt our regular scheduled programming to put you in. And then if you want to call during the second hour, that will be great also. We're going to have a Facebook conversation regarding the metaverse.
No.
We're going to be talking about the metaverse that Facebook is doing. And of course, then we have This Week in Technology History. So we are excited to get our show going, and we are going to officially start today's show.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Was that the music there, David?
Yeah, it was.
There it is.
There we go.
Now on today's show.
All right, we're going to start a show with Mike Gourdet as we start each of our shows with a loaded question of the week brought to you by Elderberry Boost. Get your Elderberry Boost today at elderberryboost.com. All right, here's a question for you, Mr. Gourdet.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to scare someone, what would you do?
Stare at them while they're sleeping.
Stare at them while they're sleeping.
Yeah,
that would be kind of scary.
Yeah. So have you ever just woken up out of a straight sleep? I don't know. We used to do this when I was in high school. People would fall asleep on the bus, and we'd all just stare at them. They'd wake up.
Really?
Yeah. And look around, and everybody starts
laughing at them.
Yeah. So staring at somebody that's very subtle, but
very subtle. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
better than just creeping up on somebody.
It's creeping up and putting spiders or do you ever remember as a little kid going to trick or treat, and you'd have these trick or treat parties where you'd put your hands in like this gooey stuff,
spaghetti and
brains.
Yeah, I was too smart for that.
It didn't quite work.
No, I was like, this is spaghetti.
Then he ate a bunch.
Ate a bunch.
All right, well, we're gonna have our whiskey tasting today. During our commercials, we have our whiskey where it gets either 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up as our pick of the day. Make sure you listen all the way through the show to have your interesting facts that will make you go, and seeing if we like our whiskey. Now, let's get our episode started with our first segment.
What's happening in the world of technology? This is our top stories in the first 5 minutes.
All right, we have our top stories every week in the first 5 minutes of the show. PayPal is asking to spend $45 billion to buy Pinterest. Pinterest Holding Inc. has been offered to buy the digital pinboard site Pinterest for $45 billion. People familiar with the matter said on Wednesday a combination could be heard of more financial technology and social media tie-ups in e-commerce. The deal comes as internet shoppers increasingly buy items that they see on social media, often following influencers on platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, and of course, one of the favorites, Pinterest. Acquiring Pinterest would allow PayPal to capture more of the e-commerce growth and diversify its income through advertising revenue. PayPal has offered $70 per share, mostly in stock, for the Pinterest buyout. The online payment provider hopes to successfully negotiate an announcement of the deal by this time next week, and they would love to make the announcement before their earnings on November 8. The source cautioned that no deal was certain and terms could change. PayPal and Pinterest did not respond to requests for comment.
I wonder if this had anything to do with Venmo and these other little payment companies.
Kind of encroaching. Remember when PayPal was like eBay came out, right?
Yep.
And if you wanted to buy something on eBay, there was no other way to do it but PayPal. And that was the currency. And eBay was hugely successful. PayPal was hugely successful.
I still use PayPal.
And then everybody says, well, why don't you Venmo me? And I'm like, oh, the Venmo, it's more difficult. I have to do it on my phone.
I'm going to PayPal you.
That's right. Give it to me on PayPal. You can do a PayPal me link and everything.
That's right.
It would be interesting for PayPal to get into the social media aspects of the Pinterest area, right? Because it's a social media hybrid. It's not where you're just posting information, but you post pictures.
Well, no, I mean, right? They get to buy if they buy Pinterest, then they get to push their platform.
Yep.
And also, they now start charging Venmo and those other places service charges for buying off of their site.
That's right. So now,
how about that?
So then all of a sudden you're going to want to go back to PayPal because it'll be cheaper than having to pay a $12 handling fee or $10 handling fee for any of these other ones.
It's just corporate skullduggery is what it is.
Skullduggery. I love that word. There you go. All right. Okay, story number 2. Amazon accused of lying about its business practices to Congress. All right, we got some great audio right
Facebook?
here.
Oh, wait a minute.
All right, here we go.
5 members of the House Judiciary Committee have now sent a letter to the Amazon CEO, Andy Jassy. It accuses the company's top executives, including founder Jeff Bezos, of either misleading Congress or lying to lawmakers about Amazon's business practices. Now they are warning that the committee could refer the case to the Department of Justice. It follows a Reuters investigation last week allegedly showing Amazon has conducted a systematic campaign of copying products and then rigging search results in its app in India to boost sales of its own brand, its own version of those products. Here's Bezos in July of 2020 testifying before the committee.
Mr. Bezos, does Amazon ever access and use third-party seller data when making business decisions? And just a yes or no will suffice, sir.
I can't answer that question yes or no. What I can tell you is we have a policy against using seller-specific data to aid our private label business, but I can't guarantee you that policy has never been violated.
All right, so he can't.
In a statement to Reuters, Amazon has denied the allegations, saying, quote, Amazon and its executives did not mislead the committee. As we have previously stated, we have an internal policy which goes beyond that of any other retailer's policy that we're aware of. That prohibits the use of individual seller data to develop Amazon private label products.
Yeah, it's more corporate skullduggery.
So there you go. So
I'm just going to use that all day today.
So here's what has been actually proven, and this is why they're saying, hey, Amazon, are you going to retract your comments of what has been done? Essentially, Amazon India has taken the top products that small businesses are selling on their sites that is getting great traction. They will then rebrand it as an Amazon Basic. That's their kind of deal. So you got Costco's got Kirkland. Amazon has their Amazon Basics. And then what they're going to do is they'll come out with a clone of what you had or very much a replica of what a hot item was selling for. And it will be in the top of all the search results at a guaranteed lower price because they can trigger it and be 3 cents lower, 5 cents lower than any other competitor on the market.
Yeah, that's how Walmart blows up stuff.
Is that how they had that?
Well, I don't know if they do that specifically, but because they are able to have their warehousing and stuff like that, that's what made them so big so fast because they warehoused everything differently.
So at best, the report confirms that an Amazon representatives have misled the committee. At worst, it has outright lied to Congress on possible violations of federal criminal law.
I guess we'll see if they may be referred to the Department of Justice. We'll see.
I would hope if that was the case that they would.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, I think you have the next story up, right, Mike?
Yeah, I wanted to know if you heard about the new social media network called Truth Social.
Oh, tell me about Truth Social. Who's in charge of that?
Oh, you would never believe this in a million years.
Who's that?
Trump Media and Technology Group, former President Donald Trump, has finally announced a long-rumored platform that he is calling his own social media platform, his own special thing called Truth Social.
Truth Social.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. So it's set to launch next year.
Okay, next year. That sounds exciting.
Although the press has announced that there's still a beta release coming this November.
Okay.
If you head over to the advertised URL, truthsocial.com, you'll find a sign-up form to be put up on a waiting list.
Okay.
So you can be notified of the launch, and there's also a link in Apple's App Store, so you can pre-order the free mobile app.
So I have to pre-order a free mobile social media app?
Yes.
From Truth Social?
But guess what?
But what happened?
A few enterprising sleuths.
I heard about this,
a.k.a. trolls.
Yeah.
However, have decided to move that launch date up to the exact same day of Trump's truth announcement, mere hours after the world learned of this.
Yep.
Social media project. A sign-up link that clearly wasn't meant to be public was discovered taking users to the domain tmediatech.io.
tmediatech.io.
Right.
Yep.
And a slew of people started registering for the unreleased platform via this page and quickly discovered that pretty much every username thinkable was available for the taking.
Really?
Yeah.
And what did some of these trolls decide to get?
So, well, if you're looking to get on this site as Donald Trump or the real Donald Trump or anything related, somebody has already taken these over.
Oh, boy.
So,
I heard there was also like a Mike Pence one that was taken over. So all these trolls had the link somewhere that they found about it. Probably in the URL, there was probably some hidden link that they didn't do a really good job about.
Right.
So they went and registered names. I wonder what they're going to do.
Which that's ironic, isn't it?
What's that?
Truth Social is going to have fake platform or fake people
off the bat.
Yeah, right off the bat.
That sounds really. I will be very interesting to see how Truth Social does, because as we're going to be talking about in the second hour, there needs to be some other social media platform out there, in my opinion, than Facebook, but no one has been able to successfully do it.
No, that's because Facebook has the market on social media. And they've shown that if they're going to compete with them, they may buy them. So they bought Instagram, WhatsApp, right? And then we have YouTube and Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter's still independent, so that's kind of nice. And YouTube is a part of the Google platform. I remember when Google used to be like the horrible enemy of the state. And now all of a sudden, Google's kind of like this middle level. Oh, I'm okay with Google.
I think they figured out we just need to shut up about stuff
and let Facebook
and people will leave us alone.
That's probably what they did. All right, the final story, number 4 I got here. A MacBook Pro notch is getting a lot of hate. So Apple released their new MacBook Pro this week, because Apple has like a news announcement every 2 weeks of something new that they're doing, and they are the best advertising company in the world. They will say, we have a big announcement to happen. They'll have hundreds of thousands of people watch them have a 45-minute commercial about spending money, and then afterwards people are like, I got to spend it. I got to spend it. I got to spend it.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Well, their new laptop has a notch at the top. So, as you have like cameras in their Surface, you have a Surface there. So your camera is above the screen itself, right?
Yeah, it's inbuilt.
It is built into the screen. Well, now think of what Apple did. Is they have a camera built into their laptop, but instead of having that real estate reserved for the camera, it actually now comes down on top of your screen. So if you open up a Word document or an email document, you literally have the middle of your screen taken away with this little camera notch.
So you have to maneuver this thing down to engage it?
That's right. So if your window's fully maximized,
it's like a push-button camera that blocks out my screen?
Yeah, yes. So essentially they released this, and are they getting the hate? Let me just tell you, the notch surround the webcam and the dips of the screen new MacBook has over 100,000 people on a petition to immediately have this banned. Apple designer Linda Dong confirmed that the cursor moves underneath the notch, but your window view is still taken by the notch itself. So your mouse won't go behind it. It'll just run across it and underneath it. But if you have any window full screen, you're going to have that top-notch
So
away.
it's gonna wipe out my menu bars and stuff.
If you have one of the new MacBook Pro 16s and the
I have
MacBook
a feeling
14
Apple
inch.
doesn't really give a crap about that.
See, Apple can just release it and you're still going to buy it. That's right. All right.
Not me.
All right. Well, that takes us to the end of our subject, Mike. We got through the top stories. If you want to learn more about us, you can visit us online at techtimeradio.com. Click on our episode section or blog and you can get more details on these stories. Now it's time for us to get ready to have our whiskey tasting during their break. But up next, we have Gamer Time segment where we look at some of the most challenging yet disturbing new technology processes in the entertainment industry of games. I'm your host, Nathan Mumm. We got Mike Roday here and David Brown behind the board. We will see you after this break. Hi, I'm Nathan Mumm, host of Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm on KKNW. Tech Time Radio's live show is Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m., and you can always check us on the web at techtimeradio.com. Our segmented stylized radio gives you the breaking news before it hits mainstream media. Join myself and Mike Roday as we'll make you laugh.
That's good. So, Hooked on Phonics worked for you, didn't it?
It did, just a little bit. And learning something new in technology. Join us Saturdays, 4 to 6 p.m., and Thursdays from 6 to 7 a.m. The technology show for the everyday common person.
Hi, this is Lisa Downs, host of Reigniting You, the show that takes a positive, forward-looking approach to mid to late career transitions for Gen Xers and Boomers every Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock Pacific. Whether you're looking to stay in the traditional workforce, do your own thing, or retire or semi-retire, Reigniting You is your source for career transition advice, inspiration, and insight for what's next in your career and life. Join me Wednesdays at 3 o'clock to get re-energized, recharged, and reignited.
All right. Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. We just had our first whiskey tasting. And Mike, during the break, we got to sample our whiskey, our pick of the day. And we have chosen Old Camp Peach Pecan Whiskey.
Peach Pecan.
Pecan Whiskey.
Peach Pecan.
Oh, you call it pecan?
I'm from Georgia. This Pecan.
Pecan or pecan. All right. So, history-making
Tomato.
duo, Florida Georgia line.
Baby, you a song, you make me wanna roll my windows down and cruise.
Are pleased to share the launch of Old Camp Peach Pecan Whiskey.
Pecan.
The smooth whiskey was created by Florida Georgia Line's Brian Kelly and Tyler Hubbard as the ultimate drink to kickstart the party, pouring onto the bottle a feeling of complete freedom and living in the moment. It's a golden orange whiskey. It has a very sweet smell. It has an impression of kind of a peach candy mix with a touch of nectarine. What is your first take on this?
I like it.
You like it?
Yes, it combines two of my favorite things:
What's that?
pecans and peaches.
Pecan and peaches, and it tastes. So we've had another whiskey on. We were just saying off the air that was kind of like, and it's not quite at this level, but we had this other peanut butter tasting Screwball
That
whiskey
was delicious.
that was like 4 thumbs up. This is pretty close. It's not peanut butter.
No, it's peach pecan.
But this really tastes. It just tastes like peach pecan pie.
There you go. See?
There you go.
Very good.
Pecan. All right. Okay.
It
So
doesn't work already. I changed it. So
You changed it? So
Yeah,
this-
you got it down. Peach pecan.
I'm going to be very interested. This is kind of a funny. I'm just going to throw it in there. I didn't think I'd like this at all.
When I looked at it, I thought it was going to be some of your crappy whiskey that you bought.
No,
But this is actually a glass jar, so I was happy about that.
And you know what? It was created. So this is what Florida Georgia Line. That's why we had the music. This is what they kick off each of their concerts with. They
Yeah,
all
I
sit
would.
back there and drink. I can see guys drinking this.
There's a reason why I don't have this stuff in my bar,
Yeah,
because it would be gone
it would be gone.
and I would be trashed.
There you go. Now I know what I can bring on our bachelor party event that we have for you coming
Yeah,
up
there
here,
you
right?
go. Yeah,
We're bringing this and some screwball.
Add some
and that will
screwball.
be. Then we'll be in trouble. All
Yeah,
right.
I need a ride.
That's right. Up next, we have our Gamer Time segment where we look at some of the most challenging yet disturbing new technology processes for our industry. Let's start that segment now. All right. Would you pay money to move a competitor from a live esports event and decide to bench them. Have you ever played Fortnite and thought about that player that you're watching as an observer and think that you could have the ability just to say, I don't want that person to play anymore, and put in 25 cents, 50 cents of virtual currency and automatically have him kicked from the game? Well, Sony thinks that this is going to be the future as they have an interesting patent that came through this week. Sony patent lets viewers vote and pay to boot players from game. The PlayStation maker has been trying to take esports more seriously in 2020 and 21. Sony filed a patent for allow live streamers, spectators, and participants to remove players directly from a game. Yesterday, the United States Patent and Trade Office approved the patent, and you can read more about it by going and searching for a patent number. I won't say the patent number, but you can go to techtimeradio.com and get it. It's removing unskilled players and allowing spectators to pay for the privilege of removing players.
Now, see, on the surface, this sounds like a good idea, but this is going to get abused horribly.
So, so let's talk about that. That's in the patent documents. Sony outlined a system where spectators can vote to remove a player. The player would have no veto power over the decision. So if I'm playing and you decide let's say I'm playing Mario Kart, right? But it's a Sony game. But I'm playing Mario Kart. I'm running around. I'm just deciding to beat up on everybody. I keep on winning and winning. A bunch of people could be watching the stream, and if it was a streamed live game, they could decide to kick me and allow other people to participate, right?
Yeah.
Now, to avoid audience abuse in this patent, they say that a 60% voting threshold needs to be met in order to bench a player actively from the game. Spectators of higher skill levels will have their votes counted more heavily in the election.
See, again, that sounds like a good idea.
Okay.
But if you're really skilled, and all the players on the other team just want you out, and they can get together and vote you out. What good is it to being skilled? I mean, unless you're actually using this for what it needs to be used for, which is cheaters. And how do you prove that anyway? Mine's like, anytime I see something really unusual, they must be cheating.
That's right. We play a game sometimes on Saturday after the show late into the night. We play Sea of Thieves, right? And somebody comes on our boat, and they're killing us real quick. It's like, he's cheating.
But that also panders to that audience that is they just don't, because one of the things that frustrates me most about video games is these top level players coming in and they just start creaming everybody because they can. So this would be a situation where you could get rid of that player. You could, but at the same point, you get better by playing against those people.
So you always get better. So a good old basketball coach that I used to have growing up, right? You only get better by playing better competition. And that really kind of is true, right? Because you have to work to how you're more creative. I'm going to come up with a better strategy.
But if you got a Twitch guy, right? He's got 1,000 followers, and he's playing a game, and he's like, I hate this guy. Hey, why don't we vote this guy out of here? You're suddenly putting an arbitrary restriction on this one player, and it doesn't even have to be a good player. It could be just somebody you're griefing, and which is what I think is going to be happening too. Is that people will start using this as a griefing platform and an abuse.
And what do you mean
platform.
by griefing?
Meaning they're like trolls.
Okay.
I play a game called Ark. Survival. And I play PvE. That's player versus environment.
Okay, player versus. So you're not player versus player, but player versus
the
AIs and the NPCs.
Yeah, you can't directly compete against them. So griefers will come around and place things around your stuff, so you can't build out anymore or anything like that. Other griefing is like camping. That's a
camping.
Form
I used to do that in
griefing.
Quake, right? In Quake 2, I'd be up in the corner with my grappling hook and shoot a rocket down when anybody would walk through the door because I could see.
And they do it to us on Sea of Thieves, where they'll just wait for the spawn points and kill you when you're coming in. So this is another way that griefers can grief other players.
So a lot of concern.
Wouldn't it be awesome if I could just say, "Hey, we're going to go attack this building over here with these guys in it. Gamer tag this, and this.
Yep.
Vote them out. Then we can
go in there and get all the treasure, right? So let me ask about this. Women are also facing already barriers in esports, right?
Yeah.
So a gender bias would be that not having women as skilled as men. Are you going to have all of a sudden a community of individuals say, you know what, let's have that female kicked who may be trying to learn and get to that level? It could be considered very likely to target specific races, specific individual genders, specific individual identities that these individuals have
This
too.
is a really bad idea. I mean, like I said, on the surface, it sounds like a good idea for certain aspects, but this is so easily going to be abused by the gaming community.
Well, I'll tell you that it can't be used by all the gaming community because a patent ensures the company's competitors like Xbox, Microsoft, Nintendo will not be able to have a similar system, as it's provided specifically having this patent to only allow Sony to be in charge of the in-game kicking of individuals from playing.
Yeah, that's going to last about as long as...
Again, think of Hunger Games, right? Think of the Hunger Game movies, right? So you're watching that, and they had all those fans watching. They're cheering on their district champion, right? And they're like, we want you to win so we can get some food. And all of a sudden, you're back at the Capitol, and you have 100,000 people playing, and you say, I want this person removed, this person removed, and boom, 60%, and they're gone.
Yeah, but it's another way of kind of classism. It's like if you have money, you can buy as many votes as you can. Yeah, you can artificially change the outcome of a game by tearing up this player. Let's pull that player out, and
all right.
It's just a bad idea.
So from moving from banning people, let's talk about recruiting people. So we're getting rid of people. Now we're going to go into our next story about recruiting people.
The final thing about banning, they need to figure out a way that you can ban griefers because none of these things work real well.
Yeah.
The community is always going to find way of griefing and
again. So that means that's a player that's really good. A griefer is somebody that's really good. And
they don't have to be really good. They can just be somebody that really just enjoys the game for the ability to impede other players.
Okay.
You know, they're trolls.
So let's say you're playing Age of Empires, which Age of Empires 4 comes out next week. The new game. I'm really excited about that. You're playing Age of Empires. If I build like a tower in the game, right, there's like 4 spots around it where I can't build anything else because it belongs to that other player. Essentially, the griefers go on in, exploit this. And there used to be the whole rushing in the Age of Empires game where people do that, and they got really hated because of that.
Yeah, anybody who knows ARC will understand when I talk about pillaring.
Yeah.
Because they basically in the PvE, you can stake out territory, and these people will come in and they will stake out the whole server with pillars, with buildable objects, so nobody else can build on there.
And it's not to enhance their experience; it's just to cause grief.
It's just to cause problems.
I did not know the word griefers. Now I do. Okay, well, we're going to move to the next story. All right, banning people is one thing. Now we're going to be talking about recruiting them for the mob or the cartel. Now this sounds like something out of a movie script, right? But this is really real. This is not Far Cry video game. I just got the new Far Cry, and this sounds exactly like Far Cry of what you're doing, because it's the new Far Cry 6 that's out. You're in this guerrilla warfare, you're fighting, and they're trying to recruit you to go and dethrone the main dude that's like the bad guy in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. I forget his name, and I forget the actor's name, but he's that.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Okay.
Darth, what's his name?
Yeah, also the guy with the sword in Mandalorian. That's right. All right. Well, drug cartels in Mexico are recruiting youth through contacts made on multiplayer online video games, officials said this Wednesday. Ricardo Maha, Mexican Assistant Public Safety Secretary, said an apparent cartel recruiter had already bought bus tickets for 3 boys between the ages of 11 and 14. He said the boys met the recruiter in an online game platform called Free Fire, and the recruiter promised the boys $200 a week to work in North Mexico as a drug cartel lookout. The boys were found before they could board the bus, but the cartel operatives have been continuing to operate in this way, including recruiting people from online game and platforms, including Call of Duty, Gears of War, and Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
Well, this has been documented in case of recruiting attempts over social media in the past. Officials said violence-soaked online game platforms offer recruiters a much larger target pool of youth, mainly male, young, fascinated by weapons, and somewhat desensitized to killing on a virtual level.
Yeah, this is gonna inflame a lot of people, but yeah. That the violence in the games helps desensitize the person to may not carry over into real life, but it helps them to desensitize stuff. There's also some emotional disturbances that can happen from this as well, which can be easily manipulated and taken advantage of, as we are seeing by these things. So if I'm playing a game where I can go around and just randomly beat up anybody I want to,
Grand Theft Auto 5, I mean, that's all really kind of about stealing
and I
cars,
I talked about griefers. You can see, if you really want a nice study of human behavior, you can see a lot of this weird stuff come out. You can see people who have psychopathic tendencies in these games because they'll do stuff that is virtually psychopathic. And because the game forum is a freedom of expression, which is why we love these things, it also creates these issues.
So the woman was attainted who essentially had bought the tickets under a false name. They did not name the cartel involved, but said similar cases occurred in September with an attempt for an online recruitment by the Cartel del Noreste. Is that what it is? Noreste. And recruiters apparently have enough technology sophistication to get around most security algorithms on popular consoles.
Mm-hmm.
The recruiter said that they were going to give these individual boys guns and a lot of money. So guns and a lot of money.
Yeah. So in the games, you're teaching them how to it gives them a sense of power, right?
Yep.
So they're running around and they're racking up
points,
depending on what game you're playing.
Right?
You're either racking up money or in-game currency and stuff. So yeah, that's a very, very quick and easy way to draw somebody into the reality of crime and violence.
And so that is.
And we don't like talking.
We don't like talking about it because we don't want it to interrupt our games.
We don't want anything bad to shine on gaming because it's great.
Just remember when Mortal Kombat came out, right? So Mortal Kombat, they had fatalities, these big the type of deals. And now today's games, I remember my parents wouldn't allow me to play that. I could play Street Fighter because that was the nicer cartoon version, right? But yes, but I couldn't play that. And now we are at full online environments. And we're going to be talking about this in the second hour regarding Facebook's metaverse and what they're trying to do with that, which is even more engaging than we probably should be. But this is essentially a recruitment tactic to get people that are probably young males, impressionable, probably struggling with home life, maybe finances not very.
Yeah, a lot of people who were smoking pot or doing drugs are also gaming.
Yep.
And so it's an easy platform. We've already talked about gambling in gaming. We've talked about I don't think we've talked so much about violence, but we've talked about all these aspects of gaming in the past that create opportunities for people who are looking for specific things.
They do. Well, that ends our segment. We're going to need to take a commercial break. When we return, we have a special Protect Yourself Today segment talking about this week's breaches, and we got 3 breaches. We have one from a loyal fan, actually sent in a email he received about a company that he works with that was breached also. So we'll be reading that on the air. That will be really exciting. I'm Nathan Mumm. We got Mike Day here, David Brown behind the board. We'll see you after this commercial break.
Did you know that up to 12 to 15% of Americans grind their teeth at night while they sleep? Yeah, it's called bruxism. I used to work at a sleep lab, and we used to measure that, and it leads to a lot of problems like headaches and destroys your teeth. It wears down the enamel, and it's just very hard on your mouth.
So every once in a while I'll wake up, my jaw will hurt. Do you think that I'm grinding my teeth at night?
Yep.
Well, so how do you go about protecting this then?
The number one recommended way of protecting yourself from teeth grinding is what's called a night guard, which is a custom fitted prosthetic that you put inside your mouth. It usually runs, hundreds of dollars, but I know our sponsor, Smile Brilliant, can get you custom fitted night guards for as little as $45 a piece.
So if you go to smilebrilliant.com and use TechTime Radio at checkout, you can receive 20% off your complete order. So visit smilebrilliant.com and use the TechTime Radio at checkout code. All right, welcome back to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm. We got Mike Day here, David Brown behind the board. We are going to go right into our next segment, Protect Yourself Today.
Protect yourself today.
All right, breach story number 1. The financial motivated Fin7 cybercrime gang has masqueraded as yet another fictitious cybersecurity company. Have you ever had a company call you up out of the blue saying that we could do a pin test for your company? If you do, immediately hang up the phone, because this is what cyber criminals are doing. They essentially secured the name Bastion Secure to recruit unwitting software engineers under the guise of a penetration testing company that was being launched. So they take a company's name. Now, Bastion Secure was actually a UK company that folded about 6 months ago. So they are listed on Google. They're listed in all of the locations with an address. They took over that address, immediately posted jobs on job boards, including Indeed, Monster, and other technical recruiting areas, where they were interviewing candidates for the supposed company and testing their PHP, their SQL database information, and many other items that would be used in a security breach itself. They actually go through the interview process where they actually talk about how to do a penetration test and how to leave client software on each of these machines.
Nice.
Now, essentially, always be careful, because if you have a company calling you up and they say that they are who they are and they want to come on in and do a penetration test for your business or small company or even just your home, a lot of these are calling into that. Do not accept that, because that company absolutely could be the bad guys that are taking a company's name, spending time to rebrand information, and try to come on out and get your security items. So, story number 2. This breach comes from our listener's email. Dear listener, it seems that Kingston Training Group emails have been hacked. I'm reading it right from the group, so sorry, Kingston Training Group. Various contacts have reached out that they have received false emails from unknown email addresses, claiming to be myself or Tanya from the training group. KTG has addressed this by changing our passwords internally, but we would like you to discard any email that looks suspicious coming from Tina Miller or Kate Kingston in the next week or so to protect your technology infrastructure. Thank you so much, and sorry for the disturbance in your workday. Now, KTG is exclusively trains business technology sales executives and managers on IT managed services, security, and protection. So, if you are paying for a security provider that provides you managed IT services, technical solutions, and MSP information mailing and technology, and they get compromised, please go and find a different company, because they're probably not finding very good practices to protect themselves, let alone a customer. Thank you for that. Mailed in from our listener. Again, you can always go to techtimeradio.com, click on Be a Caller, and submit these information to us, and we'll read them on the air. Story 3, ransomware stays steady in Q3 of 2021. So there's now a financial report that gets published publicly and on the dark web of how, just the ransomware technology is trending. So right now, it's $140,000 per security breach for quarter 3 of 2021. It's not up and it's not down. And it's almost the same number from Q2.
Boy, for people who are doing things behind the scenes and illegally, they sure have a really good infrastructure.
We do, to track it and see how we're doing. So if you get a ransomware request for over $140,000, then you're above the Mendoza line. And if it's under, well, then congratulations, pay it and continue on.
What's the Mendoza line?
The Mendoza line? That's the Mendoza line. When you go past the Mendoza line.
Where does that come from?
That's a Nathan thing. I don't know. Is David, you have it? Is it baseball?
Yeah, it's kind of baseball related based on your batting average.
That's right. There you go. See, David was all over that. I use the Mendoza line. That's whatever the average is. And so if you're above or below, that's what it is. All right. So let me just say, ransomware incidents response firm said that through July and August, the ransomware ability is holding steady on the ransomware they're charging customers.
Thank you for using our ransomware. If you have any questions or concerns, please call our dedicated
support line that will always answer.
And we will give you help.
Now, the reason why it didn't increase for quarter 3 was because DarkSide ceased operations, and it was rebranded as Black matter, so they were down a little bit. Revil went offline in July for unexplained reasons, but it resurfaced in September, so they're thinking that they're going to have an increase in Q4.
Okay.
The same month, security from Bitdefender also published notes that they think that this will continue to go high.
Where's the ransomware stock exchange? I want access to that.
You want access to that? Ransomware attacks right now are on their infancy stages for Q4 of creating new and adverse ways to attack people.
Yeah, I'm when I hear these things, I just want to go into the woods.
Do you want to just go in the middle of no man's land?
I'm just so tired of this stuff that I just want to just fold up everything and just go.
Well, now we're going to report quarterly on how the ransomware stuff is going, right?
If we can get a quarterly report now on the...
We can. We're going to have that event. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's crazy.
This is the first quarterly report where they've done this, but now it looks like this is going to be a trend.
The fact that they got data now. We're tracking everything. We can't stop it, but we'll tell you when the storms are coming.
So don't be a part of the Q4 insurgent.
Yeah.
That's right. Insurgent. Don't click on that link, and we'll be talking about this in the second hour. So make sure you take that. That's right. All right. When we return, we're going to take a commercial break. We have Mike's mesmerizing moment brought to us by StoriCoffee, the pick of the day. And then we are almost through the first hour of our 2-hour show, so we got lots of information. I'm Nathan Mumm. We got David Brown behind the board, Mike Corday here. We'll see you on TechTime Radio after this break. Hey, Mike.
What?
Have you heard of elderberry?
Only in reference to a Monty Python movie.
Well, let me tell you, Elderberry Boost. Again, that's elderberry-boost.com.
Elderberry Boost.
Yes, Mike, that's Elderberry Boost. You can choose organic Elderberry Boost, that 8-ounce size. That's available on sale right now at $11.99. But you're listening here right now on TechTime Radio, so you need to go to Elderberry. That's ELDERBERRY-boost.com and get some today.
Elderberry Boost.
Elderberry is an all-natural organic immune system booster and antiviral. Elderberry is known to actively fight against viruses, including colds and the flu. It also works as a natural remedy for allergies, cancer, digestion, heart disease, high cholesterol, headache, toothache, weight loss, and reduced inflammation.
It's a natural and healthy diuretic and has many antiviral properties. While it is famous for fighting the flu, it is effective for any illness.
Elderberry Boost was created to provide a quality organic elderberry to their customers. After searching years ago for a perfect elderberry syrup, none could be found, so they essentially created their own homemade recipe.
If you would like to get 15% off your first order of Elderberry Boost, just put in the discount code TechTime at checkout.
Again, that's elderberry-boost.com.
Elderberry Boost.
You go, hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, have you ever heard of unidragon.com?
Have I ever heard of unidragon.com?
Yes, unidragon.com.
Why, yes, I have heard of unidragon.com. That's the puzzle dude.
The puzzle dude, that's correct. He has tons of puzzles, and of course, he is the best and original wooden puzzles.
You have owls.
Guess what is the #1 best-selling puzzle?
The owl.
Do you think you had anything to do with that?
No, everybody loves owls.
Well, right now, you can get 40% off in stock if you go to unidragon.com/products/enchanting owl. You need to make sure you get yours today. Now, they also have 2 to 6 days for shipping. You can domestically ship within the United States. They have a great customer support if you ever have any questions regarding your puzzle, except for how to put it together. You can email them at care@unidragon.com. If you want to get 10% off, you can use our code DRAGONTECH. Again, that's Dragon, DRAGON, Tech, TECH, for a 10% off discounts. Now, if you want the original, go to unidragon.com. Beware of fakes. Only get your wooden puzzles at unidragon.com.
Get them all.
This is Mike's Mesmerizing Moment, presented by StoriCoffee. Visit StoriCoffee.com.
Oh.
All right, so I got a question for you, Mike.
Okay, what is it?
All right. Apple took down the Quran app in China. Apple has taken down one of the most popular Quran apps in China following a request from officials.
What about that?
Well, I don't know. Why is China removing all items from the Apple Store, the Google Store? What do you think China is doing? Because they're trying to regulate a bunch of stuff and removing apps that are kind of big staples that have been around forever.
Well, as we've talked about last week, we talked about LinkedIn pulling all their stuff out of, because they were the only operating
social media platform in China.
In China, they finally pulled it because of the government's insistence on certain regulations, and this is the problem with this government, right? So they try to disregard or try to stop outside influences, right? Because as humans, we influence each other, so they want to keep people from influencing their culture, specifically anything that gets the government painted into a negative light. Okay. So I don't know why they did that, but that's concerning because we're seeing a lot of these attempts to become more isolationist as a whole, and what that means for people in China is that the government is filtering all the information they get, so the people in China formulate narratives based only on that information. So they have no idea what's going on outside their borders, right? This is the same thing with North Korea. North Korea is heavily regulated as well. So the fact that they're getting rid of this app, who knows? Maybe this is a point where they're going to start doing that all over the place because they want to get rid. The
whole idea of the internet, though, was to have kind of that freedom of speech, right? Per se, was that you could go and find out anything about information.
Yeah, it's one of the most. As awful as it is, it's one of the most democratic things that we have out there, because if you know how to get it, you can access anything.
Correct.
Right? And China is trying to control that information. When you have people who are trying to control, it's like your boss trying to control information. It's like Facebook, it's like all these other companies trying to control how people see them, how people react to news, try to spin off negative information so it sounds less negative, things like that. We're trying to maintain images and create narratives for the people that are involved with us. Cults do this. This is a cult. This is like a cult-like behavior. Yep. They are now isolating people from the rest of the world so that they don't get those outside influences.
So here's the thing. Apple chose to remove apps, right? So they've done that for China. Google has done that with their Google Play Store. Mm-hmm. What happens to the point when Google and Apple says, you know what? No, we're going to continue to let that app be available there in this country. We're not going to remove that. Then all of a sudden, Apple gets completely replaced, and you start pulling up all the Apple devices in China. And
that's an easy step to take. They've already done it with all they have state sponsored social media already. They have state sponsored eBay. They have all kinds of state sponsored things that mimic those that we know. So it would be an easy thing, and I'm sure Apple wants to tread carefully because that's income they don't want to lose. And we do have a lot of trade agreements, a lot of products that get made in China.
Yep.
And so.
Do you know what's really interesting on the dark web? Let me tell you about the dark web, which I play around in a little bit. We kind of say that a little bit sometimes, right? So I have my own Tor browser page that I go to. Have my own Tor browser. We talked about it here on TechTime Radio. If you go back to an episode, I explained how to actually get on the dark web itself. So doing some little research about this, because we talked about this in our Thursday production meeting. Do you know that they have the Bible and the Quran on the dark web? Mm-hmm. And those are the most accessed documents, the largest accessed information of anything right now on the dark web. It's not fake COVID-19 diseases.
No, that's true. That's true across the board. The Bible is the best-selling book in the country. I'm sure the Quran is also one of the most highly sought-after pieces of literature, if you want to put it into that perspective. But it's because it speaks to some of our most basic needs as humans, right? We need these things to help us deal with our lives, whether you're a believer or not.
Yep.
Whether you believe in God, whether you believe in Allah, we have a need to try and explain our existence. And it's hard to imagine an existence that doesn't go past our death date. So we have all these things, and
China, so the dark web is going to blow up again with this, right? So now the Chinese government I know that they're trying to block the easy access, but what happens is then all it does is it just
goes,
tunnels down, and these people get aggressive on that.
That's right. It always goes underground, and the biggest issues is how is that affecting the narrative of the Chinese people?
All right. Well, we got our pick of the day: the Old Camp Peach Pecan Whiskey. I'm giving it a full pecan. Thumbs up. You give it a thumbs up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, make sure you join us for the second hour. In the second hour, we have our letter segment. We have the latest phishing attempts, email scams, and frauds sent to your host, myself. We'll be reading those out loud. Then we plan on having open phone lines. You can call us now at 425-373-5527, 888-298-KKNW. Get on the list. We already have people queued up, ready to ask us questions. I am Nathan Mumm. We got Micro Day here. David Brown behind the board. We'll see you hour 2 right after this.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.